Hey everyone, this is Dave Dubeau here with another episode of the Property Profits Real Estate Podcast. And today we've got a special Real Estate Investment Club Spotlight interview. And it's my pleasure to be interviewing Detra Harris from Strive Wealth Builders. It's a club based in Albany, California, which is close to San Francisco. So Detra, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you, Dave. Thanks for having me. I'm very excited to be here.
Well, I'm excited to talk to you because you've got a thriving club going on in one of my favorite cities in the States, San Francisco. We're pretty close to it. I'm just up the street here from you in beautiful British Columbia, Canada. So just a few blocks up the road from you guys.
Oh, just a few blocks, huh?
So, Detra, let's start with this. Tell me a little bit about your club. I love the name, Strive Wealth Builders. How did this come to be? So tell us about your club and how many members you've got, how long you guys have been going for, that sort of thing.
Yes, great. So again, thank you, Dave, for having me. So as you said, we're located in the San Francisco Bay Area. My husband and I, we formed Strive Wealth Builders just about 8 years ago. 2014, we formed Strive Wealth Builders. And the reason being behind that, at the time, I was laid off from my corporate America job. And a year later, my husband was also laid off. So we knew that we had to find a way to build wealth and not to be dependent on a job, a job, right? Mm-hmm. And so one of the ways that we decided to do that was to collaborate with some of our local residents. And we formed Strive Wealth Builders by attending small meetups and at restaurants with just a handful of us, and it grew over the years. And so we decided to form a legal corporation and build our network, and that's what we've been practicing for the last 8 years. So we
wonderful.
We specialize in working with real estate investors, helping our members to increase their passive incomes, learn to grow their real estate business and build great relationships, also to develop personal values, which include self-worth, and of course, close many great deals and add value to newbies. So I really love working with new investors and bringing them into this business. It's very rewarding for me.
So, Detra, that is really fascinating. Now, were you and your husband already actively involved as real estate investors before you started the club, or did you kind of grow with the club and kind of we're all in this together, we're learning as we go kind of thing?
Well, thanks for asking. No, my background is definitely in real estate for the last 30 years. I am a licensed real estate agent. I am also have several credentials in property management. I have worked in corporate America as a portfolio asset manager for some of the largest property management companies in the United States. So I travel quite a bit managing apartment assets for other investors. We also had smaller properties. We had some duplexes and some single family homes. I started my career with fix and flipping over 25 years. And yes, I am telling my age. But I started fix and flipping, and then I moved into rental ownership. Okay. And today, my love and my passion is multifamily affordable housing. I am an affordable housing advocate, and I really spend a lot of time working with our communities and our local nonprofits. We also have a nonprofit organization that we offer transitional housing. And so, yes, I have been in the real estate industry for several years, so I am not new to this.
No, definitely not. All right, well, that is interesting, but I really admire the action that you and your husband took under that very difficult situation, that time when you both lost your nice corporate jobs, and now it's fortunately you already had a really good background in real estate and real estate investing. But just the fact that you decided, hey, let's jump in, let's take massive action, let's create a group of people around us, expand our network, and help other people to succeed through real estate investing. So you've been running the club for, I believe you said, almost 8 years now.
Yes.
How many people do you have actively involved in the club at any particular time?
Actively, we have about 300 to 350 members that are active.
Mhm.
Our membership base is now over 1,800, and we provide several opportunities for not only new investors, but we also service sophisticated and accredited investors as well through several different events that we promote monthly. And then we also have some training opportunities, and we have a loan program for investors that seek in funding opportunity. But one thing before I forget that I want to mention to you
Sure.
that's really a niche that we have, very different from other RIAs, is that we practice six Strive principles. So the Strive is an acronym, which means sacrifice, truth, relationships, integrity, value, and education. And our niche is Strive represents personal development, and wealth building represents business development. And so we tie in the two, and we talk about growing your passive income through real estate quite often. And we use a model called a wealth ratio that we use to determine where our passive income is in comparison to our monthly expenses. And we use a scale to measure our growth, and that's what we practice. So I think
That's
that's
beautiful.
important.
It sounds very, very practical.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, that's great. That's wonderful, because a lot of things are just seem kind of out there, but it sounds like you guys are really providing people with tools to not only learn about real estate investing, but to track their progress and to keep them on track, so to speak. So much more
Yes.
accountability. So
Yes, financial literacy is very important.
oh, definitely. So Detra, it sounds like you and your husband are probably part of other real estate investment clubs and organizations prior to starting Strive. And you've got 1,800 people that are part of your organization now. What are some of the most important reasons that real estate investors should consider joining a club or a RIA or an organization like this?
Number one is networking. Real estate is a relationship business, and growing strong relationships is vital to improving your portfolio. In terms of building relationships with lenders, with other investors that may become your joint venture partners, for syndication purposes, also for attorney if you have legal issues, or if you need your questions answered. And again, you mentioned surrounding yourself with like-minded people, which also motivates you, especially under the pandemic and the struggles we've been having for new investors as well as seasoned investors. It really helps to surround yourself with like-minded people that can help you get through your challenging days. So that's been very successful for us.
Yeah.
And building capital. Having access to capital is number one.
Yeah. Well, that's huge. Well, I think the shortcut to creating your power team is a huge benefit, right? So you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You don't have to go out and vet people quite as much. I mean, you're hanging around with other folks that are actively doing what you want to do. It is an ultimate shortcut, I would say.
Absolutely. And the trustworthy people, and you're surrounding yourself with trust. There's a lot of scammers in this industry, dishonesty, and it's very important to feel, confident and comfortable with the partners that you've decided to do business with.
Yeah. So you help do some of the vetting for people as well there. Exactly. Because scam artists don't tend to hang around the same club for very long. That's for sure.
Yes, that's true.
they get shuttled out of town pretty quickly. All right. So we talked a little bit about the pandemic. How has that affected your club and your organization? I know it's kind of a positive yet negative type. Well, negative thing, yet in certain ways it's kind of positive. A lot of clubs have gone online and kind of expanded their reach. How about you guys? How has the pandemic affected the Strive Club?
Well, you're exactly right. There's been some good and some bad. Of course, the pandemic is awful, and what it's done to our economy is awful to the world. However, Usually in real estate, a downturn or usually benefits our industry in a lot of ways.
Especially multifamily.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. So there's been pros and cons under the pandemic. For one, when we started our club, it was local, Bay Area. We would hold in-person events here at our office in Albany. And actually, we started in Oakland, and we had an office in Oakland, and we moved to Albany. But we would hold live events. Once the pandemic hit, we forced us to go online
Mhm.
and Zoom meetings, lots of Zoom meetings.
Yeah.
So that had allowed us to scale. It gave us exposure to other investors in different areas, different states. And as a matter of fact, in 1 year, our membership base increased 3 times.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, absolutely. Now, in this market, yes, we do as investors. It's been somewhat challenging for the new investors under the pandemic that is seeking funding because the lending industry changed their criteria and requirements significantly. So that's been a little bit challenging for some new investors to get their feet wet, get skin in the game, as we say, in this industry. And there's been some low supply inventory as well. So some of our real estate agents that are a part of our club, because our club is not only for real estate investors, but we also have several service providers. We have several real estate agents in different states that are a part. So we've been watching them have some challenges also with inventory and being able to compete in this market. So that's been challenging. Multifamily, with the exception of the moratorium, that's been hurting a lot of our investors as well as our investment team. However, we still have managed to survive through the moratoriums. And as a matter of fact, a lot of statistics doesn't show that the majority, over 90% of renters in the United States are paying their rents.
Yeah.
So some of your A-class buildings and ownerships, they've been suffering because people just can't afford. The ones that have been unemployed and laid off just have to move. They have to downsize. So
Mhm.
that market has been impacted, a bit. But for the most part, multifamily continues to strive. Go figure.
Yeah.
um, in this market. And
Well, it
so,
makes sense. It
yeah.
makes sense.
So we've been doing well. So so I'm just really pleased with our growth and meeting great people and all around the country. It's just been great.
No, that's wonderful, Detra. Now, here's one of my favorite questions for club directors when we're having these interviews is, what is your number one member success story that pops into your mind? Like if I ask you, what would be an example of one of your members that joined your club and has just done some wonderful things?
That would be well, I have several. There's so many, but I again, my love is working with new investors.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times they believe that they cannot do it. They don't have a clear plan of how am I going to come up with my down payment for my first property.
Right.
And
especially in a market like San Francisco, you guys, it's not cheap property. It's pretty expensive.
Oh yeah, very expensive here. And as a matter of fact, one of our club members he lives in the San Jose area, San Jose, California.
Very expensive, yeah.
Yes. He actually took one of our training courses, and within 3 months, he was able to purchase his first investment property.
Nice.
He was very aggressive. He had very little capital, and he started with our network and just met as many people as he possibly can. He also signed up for other investment clubs, and he networked and built his relationships. He found a JV partner, and he was able to land his first deal.
Nice.
Less than 3 months. And that is very impressive because that's not always easy to do.
Yeah. Well, that's a wonderful, wonderful story. Congratulations on helping that member to succeed like that. So, Detra, time flies when we're having fun. And if people want to find out more about you and about the Strive Wealth Builders, what should they do?
They should definitely visit our website at strivewealthbuilders.com. Sign up. There's no membership fee to join us. That will at least get you on our distribution list, and you'll start getting our announcements, and join us. Jump on one of our events. If you need training, we have training, we have loan programs if you're looking for that funding for your first deal. You can also reach me by email at Detra, Detra, at strivewealthbuilders.com. Our business is located in Albany. We're in the Atrium Plaza, and we are open for business Monday through Friday. So you can also give us a call, send us an email. I'd love to talk with you.
That's wonderful. Detra, thank you so much, and congratulations on creating, running, maintaining, and growing a very successful club.
Thank you, Dave. It's been a pleasure.
All right, everybody, take care. We'll see you on the next episode. Thanks for tuning into this special Spotlight episode. Now, if you're a real estate investor and you're looking to find private money partners and raise capital for your deals, then check out moneypartnerformula.com. You get a free copy of my book. You can find out how to raise 6 figures or more in 6 weeks or less. Again, that's moneypartnerformula.com.